Hello, I'm Kathy Bissell. Welcome to the Golf Show 2.0, the Masters version. Gary, what's going on there?
Well, I have to talk in hushed tones because it's the Masters, and I
Of
don't
course
want
it
to
is.
disturb Mr. Bobby Jones while he putts on the seventh green. These are Masters rules.
Are
Let's
you
go
going to
over to
do it
15
in?
and Vern. Let's go to 15 and Vern Lundquist.
Yes, sir. That's the best Vern Lundquist imitation I can do.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, I think I was doing Mark Rolfing. Remember the old days? He'd be
Oh,
whispering
yeah.
at Johnny, Johnny, this pot's going uphill. I enjoyed his. I like that whisper. It made it feel important. Oh no,
Yeah,
we just
that's true.
mentioned NBC, a rival network during Masters Week. I'm going to get kicked out of here.
No, you won't.
Okay.
Not yet, anyway.
Not for that. Okay.
Not for that. For something else, you might. You have another 3 or 4 days that you have opportunities to do something to cause them to throw you
Yeah.
out, but
And
not so far.
a couple of things they haven't found out about yet. Yeah. Go ahead. Well,
Uh,
why don't we talk about Tiger Woods?
yes, I have something I'd like to say about Tiger. This is the first tournament that I can remember that he's ever played in where people didn't talk about how he was going to have a chance to win. It's like it's historic. Um, I mean, other time he's shown up at a tournament, everybody's been trying to figure out if he does this and he does this and he does this, can he win? We really think there's a chance, and I haven't heard that at all. And maybe he could surprise people by doing well. But the only thing I heard from people who talk about this and write about it was his leg is bothering him a lot, and he'll do well to make the cut. So that's a big difference as far as I'm concerned.
You didn't really hear Tiger either. He makes comments like, "Well, last time I was here, people didn't think I was going to do very well in 2019, and that worked out kind of okay." But you didn't
Yeah,
hear him saying, "I'm here to win. That's why I'm here." Uh,
no,
he had kind of a rough start on Thursday's first round, and there was a point on the eighth hole. He was going to go for the green and two from 293 uphill. Yeah, good luck even for Tiger, but the camera was on him for a long time, and he was sweating profusely because it's hot and muggy out. He had his arm on the bag, and he was kind of like just slightly shifting his back around, and his face was pretty plain, but he was like, I mean, I'm imagining it looking like he looks like he's hurting, and that's only the eighth hole on Thursday.
yeah.
He had missed the green left. He made a phenomenal pitch up there close, but he didn't look like he was enjoying. He looked like he was standing there like a guy in pain, and that could be my imagination. Maybe he was pouting, but
I
he
think he
looked like he's
probably is.
hurting. And it's hard to see. It's hard to see him walking this course 4 days, and really, you need to see him walk from that 11th green up that slope to the 12th green up that slope to the 13th tee. He's not going to like that. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, that was my number one thing about this Masters. What struck you so far besides
Well,
humor?
in my last pre-tournament story, Brooks Koepka was down here oozing confidence. He was so happy that he's healthy again, at least for now.
Oh,
He's had some knee and hip problems, and the knee thing was a lot more serious than he let on.
yes.
He revealed early this year. And I forget his quote exactly, but he said something like, I've been playing good lately, and I just get chills thinking about what I'm capable of right now. And it's like, nobody says that before a tournament
No, that's
unless they know. Not even Brooks Koepka is kind of cocky, bordering on arrogant, which is good for a golfer.
that's all right.
And
That's
kind of cocky, bordering on I'm kind of a bully,
that's
which is
Brooks.
okay. But I just didn't think he would say that unless he knew. So for that reason, I thought my pick was Scotty Scheffler. Doesn't have a weak spot in this game. Uh, but I thought Koepka, from what he said, if you're in a Masters fantasy pool, you better have drafted him on your team. That was my opinion. So he got off to a good start. Long ways to go. And we probably should mention the weather. It looks like it's a nightmare on the weekend.
Oh,
A couple inches of rain potentially, and Saturday it's 100% chance of rain with a high of 51. So
well,
they're
our
either
weather
not going to be
is,
able to play Saturday, or if they do, it's going to be horrible, and especially if you got a bad back. Oh yeah, Tiger.
yeah, a bad knee or a bad back or one of those kinds of things. It's going
Bad
to be bad.
everything. Yeah, it's not going to be good for Tiger if they play Saturday.
You know what I thought was encouraging? I was unsure how Scotty Scheffler would do, and I just happened to see one shot after I came back from swimming, and turned on the TV, and he was on two and hitting his second shot that landed what looked like 2 feet from the pin on the second green, and he proceeded to just kind of knock that sucker in for an eagle three. And I thought, well, I guess we don't have to worry about Scotty Scheffler. I guess he's still with us. So could be exciting.
I don't know. You just said the word swimming. They're going to
Yes.
kick me out of the Masters for that.
I could get some goggles for you.
Don't push it. I think we were going to talk about the 13th hole. It's
Yes.
still too early to tell. What I saw in the practice rounds was, and I hate to harp on this, but this is my 40th Masters.
Yeah.
Where they were hitting it in the practice rounds is just about exactly where they were hitting it in 1981, my first Masters.
Oh, really?
With a lot of balls and persimmon.
Okay.
They're
Well,
just
that's good.
getting it to the corner, just getting it around to the corner, past the corner, and that's right in that steeply sloped area where,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you got a shot at the green from 200, 210, but your lie is really exaggerated.
You're like this.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and I think out of the pine straw years ago through the trees. I don't think anybody can hit it to that spot anymore from this new tee. So
to the pine straw?
Yeah, hitting it on that aggressive line around the corner, they're not going to reach the pine straw, the trees on the other side. Now, if they further right, because presumably they're all aiming further right, they could still maybe get to the trees. But Curtis Strange earlier in the week had said on a phone call with the ESPN guys had said
Yes.
he wasn't sure if they hadn't made it easier by taking the pine trees out of play through the fairway. I don't know. We need to see DeChambeau and Koepka and a few other good hitters, Rory. We need to see them in action to really get a feel for it. But I think they're going to be successful in making these guys hit longer clubs in.
Oh, for sure.
How much longer? How will that affect play? Will it make it easier? Make it harder? I don't think we need to see a couple days first.
Yes, but I still remember Curtis Strange watching Curtis Strange playing that hole in 1985, and I mean he had a decision and he decided to go for it and hit a 4-wood and he pushed it. If he had hit it where he wanted to, he would have been on the green, but he pushed it and he landed in the creek, and it just went from bad to worse there, and he lost the Masters.
Yeah, he did. His mistake was not in going for it. His mistake was one of execution, and then he may have made a mistake trying to play the ball out of the creek. It was on a sandbar type thing, or a hit in the grass. He had a lie. At 15, he definitely was in the go zone. He should go for it. He just didn't execute it. So I don't. If I'm Curtis Strange, I'm not regretting my decision to go for it. I'm regretting the execution. But
yeah, it's operator error.
If I'm Curtis Strange of my execution, I would think I'm in favor of it. It's an old joke. That was actually from John McKay when he was coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as an expansion team, and they'd lose their first 26 games before they finally won one, and they were bad. After one of the games, he was asked, "What do you think? What about your team's execution?" And McKay goes, "I'm in favor of it." So I stole it.
It's okay. You're allowed to steal jokes.
Not the last thing I stole.
All the great ones do,
The first thing I stole. And I will continue stealing.
All right. So our next topic should be
Scotty Scheffler.
okay. I told you I just saw that one shot that he hit, and I'm going to myself, hey, he's not afraid and he's ready to go, and he can probably do it again.
If you're the defending champion and on the second hole you make an eagle and you're already 2 under and you're on the leaderboard, you're right where you want to be. That's fine.
Yeah.
Again, to me, of the 3 guys who have set themselves apart, he and John Rahm and Rory.
Yes.
To me, his game. He's got the most game. He's got the total game. He's the most consistent.
And you know what else?
He's the tallest.
That's true. He's one of 2 players who have won in the worst weather we've seen recently. And I don't want to mention the other one, but I mean, was it last year? Yes, it was last year at the Arnold Palmer Invitational when it was blowing crazily all over that golf course, and people were losing their drives left and right, and they're missing greens because the wind they'd get a gust, and it would like 25, 30 mile an hour winds. Scotty Scheffler won. And
well, I was pretty sure you weren't going to say Phoenix because they don't get weather much.
I know it wasn't a Phoenix, but then also
he's from Texas. He ought to know how to play in the wind.
I know. And also last year, the guy who won the Players' Championship was Cam Smith. He's a good bad weather player. I hate to say it, but he is. And
when you can chip and putt the way he can,
yeah,
your game travels pretty well no matter where you go, and it travels well even in weather. Because if everybody's missing the green, this is how Jose Maria Olazabal won a Masters. The second one, by the weekend, the greens were so firm nobody could hit the greens. Now it's a chipping and putting contest. Well, gee, who's going to win that? Tom Lehman?
Correct.
Not against Ollie, no. So that was also the year first round Olazabal's pairing was with a guy who played in his only Masters that year, Brandel Chambly.
Oh, okay. Well,
and Brandel watched on the 13th hole. Ollie had to lay up, I believe. No, I take it back. He went for the green, hit a 4-iron, and it was going into Rays Creek or something, and it got a crazy bounce and bounded up onto the green. Either made eagle or birdie, and Brandel right then was thinking, I don't know what I just saw, but if that's the kind of luck you're having, you're going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that people, nobody remembers what somebody did in the first round, but Olazabal that was like a 3-shot break he got there.
Oh, sure.
Turned a double into a.
Luck counts a lot.
Yeah.
It's like Fred Couples' ball staying up on the slope on 12.
Well, I don't think that was luck. They had the huge storms the day before Rays Creek. The level of Rays Creek rose way up the bank. So that was all like mud, even though it's green. It was softer than a thing that's soft. Yeah, I'm a writer. I come up with analogies like that. No, it was because of the rain and the really was flood conditions down there that changed the conditions of the bank from what they normally were. So that went there and it stuck because that ground was a quagmire. So
and they couldn't mow it.
Some luck, but the fact is it was. If you recreate that shot, that ball's probably going to stop there every time on that day.
They couldn't mow it, so it was.
Right.
And then the mystical explanation is there was a child that Fred had met, I don't know, sometime in the year before that, who was very ill, and he met him at a pro-am up in northern Illinois, might have been the Chicago area. And I should get out Fred's book. Had I known we were going to talk about this, I would have. But the little boy's name was Micah. And when Fred's ball stopped on that green, well, first of all, the child did not make it. He died during the year. And when Fred's ball stopped on that green, the parents' phone rang, and somebody at the other end said, Micah stopped that ball, and then the line went dead. So whether it was supernatural or flood conditions or the fact that they didn't mow it, I don't know. But Fred went on to win the Masters. Luckiest break ever. Not that he
Call was
couldn't
made by
play, but
Raymond Floyd.
pardon?
I would guess that phone call was made
By
actually
Raymond Floyd.
call. Well, speaking of the golf ball stopping, the golf ball is going to be bifurcated, which is a word that everybody hates. I know when I'm Rory in general and I see a word like, okay, I'm turning the page. You lost me. I'm not my interest. But Augusta basically said they're going to go along with the bifurcation. They're not opposed to it without making a commitment, but they made it clear. So if you're going to have the USGA is behind the bifurcated ball going not as far for the competition, the RNA for their events, the Open Championship and the Masters. You've got 3 of the 4 majors who are behind this. Rory's already said he's okay with it, and never mind any of them. This week, Tiger Woods says this is great. I'm all for it. That ball game is over. If Tiger Woods is behind it, that game is over. So we're going to have a bifurcated ball that doesn't go as far for pro golf. You've written about the 8,000-yard course and all that stuff, and I have too. Maybe there's a better solution to this somehow, but if it does go through, I mean,
this is the one.
It would take drastic action for this not to happen.
Yes,
and by drastic, I mean the PGA Tour would have to say, you know what? Our fans like the long ball. They like the eagles and birdies. Fans don't want it. The players don't want it. We're just going to keep using the regular golf balls, and we're not going to do that. And by the way, we're a tour. We're going to make our own equipment rules, our own rules of golf. We're going to buy the same guys who govern amateur golf. So that could happen. But again, that's what I call drastic action. It really is going to be a bad look for anybody to oppose this because you're opposing the people who govern golf for the right reasons.
I saw a story, I think it was on golf.com, where someone had found some old Balata balls and they did a test hitting with the Balata balls and then hitting with today's ball. And the driver distance was about 35 or 40 yards more with the today's ball versus the Balata ball. And that's, when you think about it, that's exactly how far Augusta National backed up the 13th hole. So if that's the magic number, I mean, that moves everybody from 330, 340 on their drives back to 300. I mean, that's still 3 football fields. I mean, that's still a long shot. And I firmly believe that all of the people who play professional golf will go to their manufacturers and they're going to start tinkering with the faces of the drivers and the shaft compositions, and they're going to figure out a way to still hit it farther than the regulators think that they will. So it's a bigger problem than just the ball. And it is a problem. It's been a problem for 20, 25 years. You know, Jack Nicklaus was right. He said it was a problem in the 80s. So, but we're not in charge. And if any of us could hit the ball farther, we'd sure like to. I know you'd like to be able to hit a drive 320 yards, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, the old golf ball is not going to go with the new clubs. Just like I've taken one of my old drivers from the mid 90s, early 90s out that I used to just hammer it. Those drivers were made to hit a ball that spins a lot.
Yeah.
And what we've discovered with launch monitors is the optimum distance is with balls that don't spin much. So back then, the better the player, the more compression ball you hit. 100, 110,
Yeah.
Titleist professional 110. That's what the big hitters hit back in the mid 90s. Now we're hitting they're hitting balls that are 70 compression, 60 compression. You try to hit today's balls with that driver from 1992, you're hitting a low line drive to center field. You just will not go up in the air because the ball doesn't have enough spin.
They've maximized the combination of the ball and the club.
And the launch angle and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Shafts are 20 times better than they ever were. Lighter.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're in a golden age of equipment, and that's why we're in this quandary. But equipment has never been made better, and that means the ball, everything. They've been able to make 2 + 2 = 7 by combining all these things. And athletes are bigger and more athletic and better trained. I mean, how many guys on tour are 6'3" now versus how many guys on tour were 6'3" in 1985?
Yeah.
You know, Watson and Nicklaus and Palmer, those guys were all 5'9", 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
And, you know, Nick Fallow's like 6'3", but oddly, he wasn't a big hitter. But Mickelson, he's 6'2", 6'3". You know, he's got pretty good size, even though it doesn't look like it on TV. So the game has changed, and it's hard to rein it in. But somebody needed to do something, and
yeah, they did. And the thing is,
I'm not
Mike Wan, wasn't he with TaylorMade for a while? Or is that incorrect? He was with
somebody. Yeah, he's got a long history of success.
Yeah, but
he's the first guy at the USGA to do something.
He was also with the LPGA, and
he was commissioner at LPGA. Turned them around.
And Fred Ridley, who is chairman of Augusta National, used to be with the USGA. Didn't he have a position with the USGA, or was on their board, or was the president of the USGA for a while? And he also is an excellent amateur golfer. So these people all are tied into each other. So they've all agreed to agree, is my opinion on this. And once they've decided that they're going to agree, then they're all going to say, okay, fine, now we're going to go forward using this method. And I think that's okay.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of players aren't happy about it. They all think they're giving up an advantage, and the manufacturers, besides the obvious expense this is going to incur, is going to change this model, which they don't like. They use tour players to advertise their products, and to advertise, you mean hit it longer, hit it farther. That's all they ever try to sell. And now, if that's just the business model is going to be different. They just don't want to change it because it's been successful. Well, that's what salespeople do. They have tunnel vision. This worked last year. Let's do it again so I can sell it. They'll change it. They'll adjust. It's not going to be that big of an adjustment. I think people will be surprised. Golf's not going to look any different on TV, except you're not going to need a 515-yard par 4.
Correct.
Anymore.
And it may be that's not a long enough par 4. if Bryson,
the way it's going right now, 515 is 330-yard drive and 185. That's a 7 or 8 iron.
Yeah,
so I mean, 515's
it's not far enough.
Yeah, nothing's far enough.
Yeah.
Well, it's Masters Week. I don't think we want to talk too long because people want to go watch the Masters.
That's right, and they should, because it's going to be great.
But I'm in a room in the press palace at Augusta. You can see there. I'm going to move this. You can see there's some Masters photos in the rooms behind me. You see there? No, that's Jordan Spieth. Can't see. I'm looking the other way. I can't see what all that is. Just some old photos here. Hopefully, I'm making you dizzy or nauseous, as our podcast did.
Yeah, we're going to expire here in about 3 minutes if we don't quit.
Yeah, who's that black and white behind me? Is that Arnold Palmer?
I don't know.
Yes, that is Arnold Palmer. I don't think we could have a better podcast than be in front of Arnold Palmer.
I don't think we could either.
Well, let's sign off from Augusta. I'm in Augusta. I have no idea where you are.
I'm in
probably next door to an ice cream shop somewhere.
No, I'm in Ponte Vedra.
I bet there's an ice cream shop right up the road there.
Probably. I
I
haven't
bet
been
you go
to
in there and say, I'll have the regular. I'll have the usual. Sorry, I'll have the usual.
it. No, but I did get some jelly beans because it's going to be Easter here in a minute. How about you?
No, I didn't get
No?
jelly beans. I'm too at the Masters. It blots out the sun. I'm not even forgotten Easter's coming up. So
You almost forgot about food. That's how important the Masters is.
yeah, that's it. So enjoy
Well,
the Masters. Play hard. Play often.
and where did the shameless
Your
plug
fantasy
go? I
team, and you
lost
win
the
some pool
shameless
money.
plug.
Now the
That's
wagering is legal in many states.
okay. Yes, and if you could wager now, you would wager. I'm sure. Okay,
I bet you
everyone.
really like in our advertisement there. Click on like. Click on subscribe. We need subscribers. Maybe someday we'll make 17 cents on this, but frankly, I doubt it. But you
I
never know. Help
predict
us out.
I predicted Rory would win. Who did you pick?
I picked Scotty Scheffler.
I
And
think that was a good pick.
after I heard Koepka's comments, he was my backup plan.
He's your 1A. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I predicted Victor Hovland, who's having a great day,
No,
but it's still early. You can still have a lousy day here. We'll see.
it's only Thursday. All right. Good luck there. Would you like to whisper goodbye?
Okay.
Okay.
He's got
Goodbye
an
until
uphill
next
putt.
time.
This could go. It's going left to right. Oh, whatever. No more whispering.